A Grand Lodge is the overarching governing body of a fraternal or other similarly organized group in a given area, usually a city, state, or country. In Freemasonry, a Grand Lodge, a Grand Orient, is the usual governing body of craft, Blue Lodge, or symbolic Freemasonry in a particular jurisdiction. The first Masonic Grand Lodge was established in England in 1717 as the Grand Lodge of London and Westminster, soon to call itself the Grand Lodge of England. The head of a head lodge is called the Grand Master, and the other officers of the Grand Lodge prefix Grand to the titles of lodge officers. Many European Grand Lodges have established provincial Grand Lodges as an organizational layer between themselves and member lodges. In the United States, a Grand Lodge will often divide its area of control into districts or regions. There is no central body to oversee all of the Grand Lodges in the world, and therefore, individual Grand Lodge policies and practices can and do vary, though they have a similar basic framework in common. The lack of a central authority means that Grand Lodges are held together simply by fellowship with one another. Jurisdictions. Grand Lodge jurisdictions are typically based on areas of civil government, with a separate Grand Lodge governing Masonic lodges within a particular national or state boundary. Each head lodge functions independently of any other head lodge, setting its own rules and rituals, and determining which other head lodges to recognize. When two Grand Lodges recognize each other, they are said to be in amity. Amity means that the two Grand Lodges recognize each other as being legitimate, and may allow Masons under one Grand Lodge to visit lodges of the other. A Grand Lodge that is not in amity with another Grand Lodge will not permit its members to visit lodges in the second Grand Lodge's jurisdiction, or vice versa. The cause of a lack of amity is usually due to a perceived or actual violation of one of the landmarks of Freemasonry. Furthermore, with some exceptions, especially regarding U.S. Grand Lodge's recognition of Grand Lodges in South America, any head lodge not recognized by the United Grand Lodge of England is also not recognized by any head lodge in amity with UGLE. The largest Grand Orient in the continental Masonic form is the Grand Orient de France, while the United Grand Lodge of England, the Grand Lodge of Ireland and the Grand Lodge of Scotland each govern Freemasonry within the respective countries and overseas provinces. Continental European countries typically have more than one Grand Lodge per country. Historically, the United States had recognized one Grand Lodge per state, independent of the head lodge of any other state. Today, most have two, a mainstream Grand Lodge and a Prince Hall head lodge. All of the mainstream Grand Lodges in the United States of America are recognized by each other, and most recognize each other's Prince Hall counterparts. Prince Hall Masonry, which was formed while Masonry in the United States was effectively segregated on racial grounds, has a predominantly black membership. Various philosophical and technical reasons historically prevented U.S. mainstream Grand Lodges from recognizing or acknowledging Prince Hall Grand Lodges as regular bodies operating in accordance with the landmarks of Freemasonry. Originally having one Grand Lodge for the whole United States, separate Prince Hall head lodges now operate in most U.S. states and jurisdictions. Many PHGLs also sponsor and govern Prince Hall lodges abroad, principally on and near U.S. military bases. Since the early 1990s onward, most but not all U.S. Grand Lodges and Prince Hall head lodges began to extend mutual recognition and promote visitations and fellowship between the members. Relation to other Masonic bodies. Other organizations which only accept Master Masons, such as Scottish Rite and the Shriners, have their own governing bodies, not called head lodges, which are not directly accountable to the Grand Lodge in the jurisdiction in which they operate. Other Masonically affiliated orders, such as the OES and Demoli, are also independent. However, these organizations' governing bodies, as a rule, defer to the head lodges as the essential authority over Masonry in the regions. Other organizations, the Odd Fellows, Elks, and other similar fraternal groups also have head lodges, as does the Orange Order, as many of them based their organizational model on that of Freemasonry.